Yeah, it's disappointing. Shoot, I mean, game of inches. So, Nola's ball down the line looked like it might be fair. Anytime you get 1-0 game like that where guys pitch like that, every little piece of it ends up being, maybe worth a little bit more than in normal games, in other games. So when the first time he stepped off at 12 and then got back on, and the rule states that you start the clock over again. So he wasn't sure if he had a disengagement there. So once we got to 2, I actually had a pitch out on, and then PitchCom got a throw over. He ended up throwing over. He wasn't sure that it was already 2 disengagements, but then, so there was some, a little bit issues with, how we, handled that one.
Just not having done it a whole lot. Is that the explanation there?
Sometimes PitchCom you hit a button and it gets a different sign or a different pitch. And this time it was from a pitch out to a throw over.
You hit the correct button, it gives you the wrong call. Just want to be clear.
I believe that's what happened, correct.
What could you have done differently? Because that base was stolen on him, and it seemed pretty obvious that Mitchell was going to go.
Well, obvious that pitch, right? So not before, but, he kind of played a little possum and then got out there and timed it well. And that's what teams are working on now is the rhythm of the pitcher. Yu was quick to the plate. He was quick to the plate all game. It was just more about getting the timing him and getting a running lead and really taking off before he delivered the pitch.
If I'm understanding what you're saying, you did not know that he had committed or that he disengaged.
He did not know that he had 2 disengagements when he threw over the third time.
Later, the umpires were far more demonstrative.
Correct.
Do you have an issue with him not knowing or them?
Well, that's
not
why we went out and talked to the home plate umpire, and they were pretty, they were adamant about that we let him know there were 2 disengagements already. But, when you're pitching in a game like that, you have a certain thing in your head, you have a certain thought, and apparently, didn't know that.
You guys did PFPs the other day, pretty early for the season. How do you feel guys are, settling into knowing that they're going to have to, be more vigilant this season?
Yeah, they know. We got to be quicker. And look, Yu was quick basically the entire game. I mean, he was in the 1-2s, 1-3. Wilson was 1-2, 1-2-5, 1-3 every pitch. So they're very aware of that. There's a lot of timing things now that teams are doing too that can turn a 1-3 into a 1-5. But I think what we're trying to do with our pitchers, they're handling it pretty well.
On the pitching side, he threw a lot of splitters, seemed to have a lot of success with that.
Well, he struck out the side and with splits in the first. So, he's pretty aware of what's working on a particular day for him. And he's got so many pitches that, it's with experience and what he does. He knows what works with him on a particular day. 12 strikeouts today, only 4 hits, was really, really good.
Skip, early in the first 2 innings, I believe, 3 at-bats with runner at third, less than 2 outs, 3 straight strikeouts. Obviously turned out to be important at the end of the game. But is there an approach thing that's not getting those runs home? Is it an execution thing?
I think he executed well. So, threw us change-ups for, I think, a couple of the strikeouts, and he was really good about pushing you away with the cutter and then using the change-up off that kind of in the same lane. So, look, we're trying to get a ball out over the plate and get it in the air. It just didn't happen.
あれはだからピッチクロックがうまくだからノラがクリックできてなくて、でもう時間がすごく迫ってたんだけど決まらなかったからそれが、それで一回僕がステップオフしたのを多分それは牽制1回と取られてしまってそこのがうまくなんていうの審判の人と意思疎通ができてなかった。
I guess it's something that sort of the miscommunication between the umpires, one disengagement that, one time that I took off the plate, when I step off the plate, I'm sorry, I didn't think that was necessarily a disengagement, but the umpires thought so.
ピッチクロック、ピッチコムのあれがうまくいってなかった。
And the PitchCom, I guess wasn't working as how it should be, so.
What pitch was that of that because I did not see it where they called it on you? What pitch was it? Was it the first pitch?
僕もちゃんと分かってないけど、多分最初の牽制かどうかだっていうのをピッチコムでやろうとしたんだけど、ノラがそれをうまく使えてなかったから、これがもうあっち行ったりこっち行ったりってなっちゃってたんで、それで一回ステップを多分それだと思う。
I don't necessarily remember. I think it's the first pitch. You know, it was between me and Knowles. I think what I pressed,
ノラがプレスしてる。
what Knowles pressed, wasn't working the way it should be, I guess. So
You obviously didn't know that you had, because you were seemed confused. You think that you should have been, it should have been more obvious to you by the umpires that you had already done one disengagement?
ホームプレートアンパイアから何も言われてなかったので、プラスベンチも分かってなかったからそこで牽制のサインが出て、で牽制をしたと、いうことだったので、はい、僕もよく分かってなかった。
yeah, I didn't know, and you know, I don't think our dugout knew as well. There was a pickoff from, you know, the sign was the pickoff, and I did that not knowing that, you know, I already disengaged 2 times.
Was there a pitch out called and it came through as to throw over to first on the PitchCom? Did they have a pitch out call from Bob?
いや、多分牽制のサインが普通に出てて、最後のやつは牽制だったので、普通に僕は牽制投げて。
You know, I thought it was a pick off, and you know, and obviously the last one was a pick off, so that's what I did.
Do you know if you were pushing the wrong button accidentally, or was the button itself programmed wrong?
いや、僕じゃないって、僕は基本的にピッチコーリングだけだから、そこは基本的に全然大丈夫。だからいろんなボタンとかそのモード切り替えとかが多分あるから、牽制だったり、そのピッチアウトになるとまた変わってきちゃう。
So I wasn't the one that was pressing; it was Knowles. So, you know, there's a lot of modes in that thing. So, you know, maybe there was something that went wrong there, but it wasn't me that was actually pressing it.
だからそのなんていうのかな、すごくモードの切り替えがやっぱすごく難しいみたいで、それで結構キャッチャーがその困ってることが多いので、だからそれノラもすごく困惑してたと思う。
I think there's you have to change the mode at sometimes, and I think the catchers sometimes are having a hard time with that, which was probably the case for today. So yeah.
With all this new stuff in the game, new modes, PitchCom, pitch clock, how do you feel? You know, the third start for you seems like went really well. How would you say it's been going?
そのピッチクロックも全然問題今はないですし、これも完全に僕は使えてると思うので、今のところすごく楽しくやってます。
I don't think I have any problem with the pitch clock anymore. I'm able to use the PitchCom. I feel like I'm able to use the PitchCom pretty well also. So, you know, so far I think everything has been good for me.
And I think that's when he got the disengagement, the first, before a pitch was even thrown. Then we picked over, and then another switch in the mode of PitchCom messed up. Didn't get the right sign in on the pitch out. That's how it unfolded.
Did the pitch out come across as a pick off?
It came off as another play on the PitchCom.
Okay.
So we had to switch it over, and when we switch it over, you got to hold the button in. Must not have got the right button in, and there was time running down to 3 seconds, and it became like, I don't know what to do. Like, we got to do something.
All this new technology, and you have to do it in whatever 15 or 20 seconds. You know.
Yeah.
Is it kind of a bit much at this point, and just do you anticipate it kind of getting easier? Or?
I anticipate it getting easier as the starts go on, but sometimes with the PitchCom, you got to really be precise with it, or otherwise, if it doesn't spit out the right thing on time, especially now that we're on a time and disengagements, it's definitely quick when it comes to run game and stuff like that, for sure.
Other than that, it was pretty good.
Yeah, he was dominant. He was really, really good. We had some amazing stuff today.
Pretty obvious, like the splitter was working, and
fastball, splitter, breaking balls, pretty impressive.
With the pitch guy, how user friendly is it? I guess is it confusing which buttons you have to push to switch modes and things, or is it once you kind of get your handle on it, is it fairly easy to work, or is it a big learning curve on it?
That's probably the toughest part, is switching the mode, because we have multiple modes with multiple pitchers. So when you switch modes with the time, because we have 20 seconds with runners on, and we have plays in the modes, when you got to hold buttons down. So, yeah, like if you don't hold the button down long enough, it'll shoot out a pitch instead of shooting out the play that we have, like the pitch out that we had going on right there. I must have plugged it in. I hit the button and it shot something else. I didn't hold it down long enough, and I guess probably because the clock was running down, and I just clicked the button and it spat out a pickoff.
Do you know?
It's a lot, man.
When you've held on, like, does it beep until you change modes?
No, you just have to hold it down until you hear something. Until you hear it say something to you.
Darvish, as dominating as he was today, how frustrating is it to not get something going offensively?
Yeah, I mean, when he pitches a gem like that, 7 innings, we just we got to get some offensive going. I mean, but you hope when he pitches that well, we get a win. But he's going to keep going out there. We're going to keep doing it offensively and just continue to work at bats.
How often does something like this happen with the modes?
It's happened a couple times because of the modes. We have 4 different modes on PitchCom, so it happens. I mean, it's having to switch, and the run game comes in, and we got plays being made with runners on. Sometimes it does get, and the clock does start to run down, for sure.
It's pretty easy to explain it to us here, but on the field with 20 seconds, a guy on first running down, it can get a little hurried up.
Yeah, because if you think about it, it's about 15 seconds left. You have about 13 after we get the run game. Once we get the sign so you have about 13, 14 seconds left to really make sure that you get in the right mode and get the right button down. And so, I put the wrong button down. We ran down. It was